you observe how I walk around the street, like you brought up, is it's what was the word you used? Like I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, enjoying it. Yeah.
Right, like I'm enjoying it, which I am. Right? So there's a kind of loose, limber, lazy, fun way of walking. Whereas when you look at these other people, like look how stiff that guy's back is in the middle of that group of three, the tall one, right? Look how stiff his back is, right? Look at how stiff the shoulders are on the one on his right-hand side with the cream top, yeah? He's very stiff, right? Those guys we saw in suits. So I'll just recap what we said. There was those two men in suits, obviously on a lunch break from work, given the time. Professional guys.
Yeah.
The suits were quite nice, although the suits, interestingly, matched exactly, like some sort of uniform.
Yeah.
But they had stiff backs, closed professional body language. They walked like professionals on their way to a meeting. Right, why? Because that expresses their identity. Their identity is a professional on his way to the meeting. And they like that, right? And presumably for their life, that's a good thing. So, when you're in an office environment, you're constricted. So you're physically constricted by the seat and the desk and the workstation in front of you, the cubicle around you, or however you work. But you know, you're not slouching on a divan like an emperor while women feed you grapes, right? Yeah. You're not slouching. Right, there's like correct professional body posture. If you go into a meeting with your manager and your teammates, everyone's got their like elbows on the table, leaning forward, back straight, chin up, right? Professional, alert body language. Yeah. And if you want to see exactly the like archetype of how that is, just go on the internet and look for any kind of management consulting websites or recruitment consulting websites, and they always have those like diversity pictures of like a meeting with like a black woman, a Chinese woman, and a white guy, right? And they're all like got these like fake smiles, and but they all have this like alert body language, right? Because it's a posed marketing still, and they're trying to express, look at us, we are professional. So that kind of constriction expresses itself when you're out of work, when you're walking around. And that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to go from a professional job straight out onto the street to day game, because you've got the lingering echoes of this entirely different mindset, right? Yeah. And you know, that mindset is poison for getting laid. So, or at least certainly getting laid hot girls for free. So we're just going to walk around a little bit and look at how the men's walk is expressing their mindset, their personality, and their kind of vibe, right? And then we can contrast it with how we should be walking, and hopefully you learn. Right, look at how stiff this guy's shoulders are, the one with the man bag, right? Right, compare that to say, see how I usually sway my shoulders like this, yeah? Right, now I picked that out. The reason I do that is I actually picked it up from MMA. I used to go and watch the Pride shows, which were the big MMA events in massive stadiums in Japan. And used to have fighter entrances. Right, they'd come to the ring for the fight. And I remember just thinking how cool loads of the fighters looked. I remember Don Fry coming to the ring. I remember Renzo Gracie coming to the ring. And they just had this fucking walk, you know? And I just thought, that's cool, I want to copy that. That was like pre-game, right? Look how stiff this guy's back is, right? I mean, his walk's not so bad, but it's hardly a CAD walk, right? So yeah, so if you move your shoulders, it's a bit more dominant, a bit more belligerent. You know, I remember a girl in Belgrade told me I was the only guy she saw who walked with his hips. You know, like fucking, so it's like my hips are moving as well. Not like side to side like a woman. Yeah. A bit more like thrusting and belligerent. You'll also notice how my knees bend, right? Right, compare my knees now, which is how I normally walk, with how I walk when I'm really tired. See the difference in the bend and the give, right? Now, if you want to visualize this, right, it's always good to visualize yourself in self-serving, ridiculous ways. Think of it like a lion or a tiger walking through the savannah. How would a tiger walk, right? It has this kind of loping, soft grace. It's quite expressive. Whereas what you're seeing about these guys is they have small, rigid, tight movements. and girls just don't notice it. Now, so part of it is, I mean, look how stiff this dude is, right? No shoulder movement, no hip movement. His legs are just his knees are almost like whacking. He's like, right? Stiff, yeah? He's hunched over a little bit. Obviously his fashion is appalling, but like no bird is going to, I mean, he's actually a tall, good looking guy, but like, these guys have much better walk, especially the one in the black, look.
Yeah.
But you can see it, right? It's a much better walk.
Yeah.
It expresses, this guy's is so-so, he's getting a little bit right, you know. This guy's a bit hunched, a bit narrow, a bit, you know, taking up space. So this is something you can do in your own time when you're walking around. Right, look how stiff this guy is in the suit. In the blue shirt, I mean. Right, look how this guy, admittedly he's old, but his feet are stumbling, look, right? Yeah. Right, I mean, look, he's an older guy, like maybe this, you know, maybe when I'm that age I'm stumbling, but... Right, so, this walk is, figuring out the walk, the subcoms, is going to do a few things. Number one, you're more likely to attract positive attention from a girl, either in an IOI, or she doesn't IOI you, but she notices it before you open her, right? And it's just give you that slightly positive boost. Just, you know, your percentages have just got a bit better when you roll the dice, right? But the other thing it does is its effect on your state. Like I said earlier when we met John and Tom, and we were just sort of, you know, I was saying, look, if you notice, they like sit the same way I do. They fractionate the same way I do, you know. They lounge and slouch the way I do. Now, I'm not saying they copy me, it's just everyone does that, right? It's the same with walking. You know, everyone's got this kind of walk. Why? Because it gets you in that mindset of, like, these streets belong to me, right? I'm in an easy, comfortable going mood. I like what I'm doing, walking around, right? It's... Like we talked about yesterday, is we're getting away from the maths exam version of day game, right? Where you must do your 10 sets, your 10 sets, your 10 sets, your 20 sets. And if you don't, you suck, right? You must try and get a number, or you must try and get an eye date. And if not, you suck, right? We don't want it to be like trying to memorize a combination in Mortal Kombat for a special move, right? It wants to flow easily and gracefully like the Street Fighter combos do. Let's walk around. By the way, those two games perfectly encapsulate the difference, by the way. Like, people have long said that. The combinations for, like, fireballs and dragon punches and stuff in Street Fighter are all natural little quarter circle rolls and half circle rolls and forward, back, forwards. They're actually very easy to remember. Whereas in Mortal Kombat, you have to hold down, like, 4 buttons and tap. Everything's, like, counterintuitive. So learning the special moves in Mortal Kombat is like doing a maths exam. Right, whereas learning them in Street Fighter is just like learn to play a chord or something. Again, I think it's the same in game. We want to be enjoying this. We want to be feeling at peace with the street and one with the street and the right vibes coming out. This girl's quite nice. You might want to open her if you like the look of her, that is. She has a nice walk as well. Do you like her?
I like her.
Yeah, give it a go. Look, it doesn't matter what happens. It's your first set of the day. Right. Did you sense, though, how easily you just slipped into that set with the right sub-communication? Why? Because I've spent 10 minutes talking up your vibe into exactly the right vibe, right?
Yeah.
And you immediately, I'll show you the video. I took a bit of video. I didn't get to stop, but I got a lot of the, I got a minute and a half of the set. Your posture was right. Your eye contact was right. Your gestures were right. Your vocal tone was fine. Yeah. Everything was just as if you were doing it exactly by the book, the way you're supposed to do it. Now, of course, you've told me you have been practicing sets, but that set was better than it should be given how many sets you've done in your career, right? Because we were just in the right vibe. We picked a high probability girl, right? I mean, I could tell she was a high probability to stop, and you just slipped right in there in the right mood. It was not a maths exam, right?
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was not like going to the fucking dentist to get a tooth out, right? It was more like sliding into a fucking swimming pool on a hot day, right? That's the power of the vibe, right? That's the power of feeling all your arrows in the same direction, that what you're doing is right, that it's fun, and that it doesn't matter what... Yeah, do it, man. See, you were just oozing confidence there, right?
Yeah.
You were just oozing confidence. Imagine if you could bottle that feeling and bring it out every time you did day game. It'd be fucking brilliant, wouldn't it? Suddenly, day game's fun, right?
Yeah.
It ain't a fucking maths exam. It's like getting a hit of the crack pipe. It's so fun. You want another hit, right? See what I mean? You're looking at sets now. You're like, let me at them, right? You can feel it, can't you? What a fucking difference that is from approach anxiety, right?
Yeah, a big fucking difference. Hey, what do you do if you notice some girl from like a distance and then like you're almost about to approach her, but then you notice that you don't really want to approach her now?
Well, as in you want to wait or you want to not approach her at all?
Yeah, not approach at all. Like,
well, you just don't approach her, right? What do you mean a girl you've already opened or before you open?
like you're almost like she's there, you're here, and you're like about to say stop and like.
Nothing. You just say, never mind. Smile. It's no big deal, right?
Okay.
But again, like, I really hope we can capture this feeling more this week, because this is exactly where you need to be to do effective day game, and where you're excited to go out and do day game. You know, you're not like, fuck, I got to do another 47 sets by Sunday, right?
That's a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I've videoed that set as well, so you know we'll see. There we go. I mean, now, this feeling isn't going to last forever, right? At some point, it'll drop off, which is normal, right?
Yeah.
And often it's nothing to do with what you did, you know? It's like, you only have the right wave to surf for so long, and then you got to wait for the next one to come along. So, but I'm really glad that you've been able to... Actually, let's go cafe news. I'm going to take away juice. Right? But I was really hoping we'd get the state where you feel it, right? This is what I mean about emotional connections. You can't read this in a book, right?
Yeah.
You can't feel this watching a YouTube video. You have to just have that, you know, like fucking hell, let me hit the girl. Come on, where's the girls, right? Rather than that weird in your head thing of like, shit, make yourself approach, control AA, positive talk, right? You have to feel that. And the more times you can feel that this week, the more you'll just take these reference experiences back to New York with you. And you can always think back when you're having like a shit day and it's raining and your vibe's off and you're not meeting the right girls. You can always think back. It's like, I remember that feeling though. I remember what it's like to really fucking love it, right? And that'll power you on. You know what it's supposed to look like what good vibe is supposed to look like, how it's meant to feel, and how naturally the girls just stop. Because they feel what you feel. They just stop. And you notice, none of it is about changing the words.
Yeah, it's just the vibe, communication, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe we'll keep walking around. I don't want to stop the momentum. For now, just enjoy being in the jacuzzi, right? Just enjoy the feeling of it. And again, don't try and force it. Don't over-intellectualize it. Just enjoy. If you see the girl you like, go in. If you don't see the girl you like, whatever. Just enjoy the feeling.
Strawberry, it's good.
I think that's strawberry. That is strawberry. That's not raspberry, right?
Yeah.
Raspberry, okay. So, let's just focus on the walk for now, you know. Keep yourself nice and loose. And enjoy the sun. Enjoy the feeling of just your feet hitting the ground and eating up the kilometers. All the colours. It's just pleasant, right? Just enjoy the walk and be nice and loose. Oh, Eye of the Tiger, innit? You're properly up for it, aren't you? Give me a sec, give me a sec. And this is why people just can't stop doing day game. You know? It's like if you're in this sort of mood, you know, it's just fucking, it's like the whole world's like a playground, you know? And then when you lose the mood, which always happens, you just want to like recover the mood, right? And so then you become a bit obsessive, right? You're like, right, fuck, let's go out. It's like 1 a.m. No, I'm not going home yet. I will get one good set, right? You're like, psh, no, I will get a good set. Psh. You know, like Tom was like that last night, you know? You did it, you got like about, I don't know, you got one good set in about 5. You got a bunch of pretty like brutal blowouts where he's like, I will get that set, I will get my good set.
He was getting a lot of draws yesterday.
Oh, he was well into it, wasn't he?
Yeah. It was like it's growing out.
Yeah, that's the feeling. Do, 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 do. Well, we'll get one more set. That'll take you up to 5, and then we'll do the next little bit of body language, the next little thing to think about. For now, it's just, yeah, there's a very nice soft walk. You can feel a little bit of spring in the muscles of your feet on like, right?
Yeah.
No, the like, you know when like your feet kind of like lock out when you walk if you're lazy, right? They can kind of lock out. So it's none of that. It's more like, I mean, I'm exaggerating here, obviously, but like, you feel a little springiness in your thighs, you know? You feel a little bit like you could, you know, like a basketball player who can move around, you know, fast. I mean, look at this guy coming up in the black vest, right? Can you see how his quadricep muscles shake every time his feet hit the ground because his legs are locking out?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, they're locked out. You don't want that, right? This one's a bit better. He's got a bit more swag to him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, girls see all this. Guy in the pink with a girl, he looks a bit hunched in, right? Guy on the left looks a bit angry.
Pretty fucked up postures, pretty fucked up body language, that guy.
Yeah, he's slouches.
He's like
He's
slouching,
leaning
yeah.
forward. Yeah, he's slouching. Now, I mean, you got to get the right balance, right? You can't be this,
You can't be this, yeah.
right? But you can't be this,
yeah.
right? So that's why I like the boxer one. Now, the boxer one is a little bit too hunched, right? Because you're protecting your chin and
Yeah.
stuff. It's a little bit too much, but it's that kind of idea. I mean, you've got to have enough erectness that you look confident and proud, but enough hunched over that you're a bit relaxed and a bit like ready for action, you know? So yeah, it's a balance, like most things. You got to get the balance. And to get the balance, you got to know what the two extremes are and why they're there. Let's stay on this side out. Oh, ice cream. Oh, here we go. Best ice cream in Poland. Yeah, they've actually changed the machine. Oh, that's it, because I normally go... I've never tried that one though.
Wait,
Oh, God, this is a tough choice.
The company is the same.
The machines are slightly different though. I don't know. Right, I'll have a vanilla strawberry small, please. There you go. See, the good thing about doing lots of walking and digging, you can eat anything,
yeah.
you can eat whatever the fuck you want, right? Oh, yeah, because I had, I think, like 3 beers yesterday. Like 2 small ones equals 1, right? I think I had 4 small ones and 1 full pint. Because after you went, we went down to a little bar there and had some beers. Thank you. God, I love summer for girls showing their legs. By the way, when it comes to your gym work, obviously you've got your gym goals and you've got bigger, leaner, whatever, but never forget the stretching for your flexibility, because your flexibility allows you to be loose, you know. So, you know, make sure you do your stretches after the workout, you know.
I haven't been doing that, but I should get onto it. That has been in my mind for a while.
Because like most gym guys are very tight, you know, because they're all focused on the muscle, not the flexibility. And unfortunately, having tight muscles gives the impression, fairly or unfairly, that, you know, I don't know if you know the phrase where we say, oh, he's got a poker stuck up his arse, right? You know, poker, where you poke the fire, that metal thing?
Yeah.
You say it's stuck up his arse, but he's like this.
You're always like,
But his like personality is like this as well, even if it's not, right? He might be a really relaxed guy, but if his body's like that, you just get that impression, right? You know how you always assume ugly people are evil and good-looking people are good, right?
Yeah.
It just makes no sense, but...
That is the assumption,
That means... Oh, look at that little belly. Look at that little belly. It's a little mouse. Maybe, maybe not. I know what you mean. I saw it too.
It was, like, should I go, should I not go? Looks like an
Well, that's a decision you have to make based on your vibe, right? If you feel like your vibe is solid enough to handle a blowout, you do it. If you feel like one blowout might knock you from good vibe to bad vibe, you let it go, right? That's about your own assessment of how strong you feel in your vibe at that point in time, right? Sometimes I just want to do easy sets, right? Okay. That's normal, right? When your vibe's on the borderline, it's you suddenly start getting these like difficult decisions, right? Whereas when your vibe's high, you're like, fuck it, I can handle anything. And that's normal. That's totally normal. So much of day game is vibe management. The actual technical stuff's relatively easy. Right, that's 5. Now, am I right in saying every one of the 5 stopped?
Yeah.
Good, right, progress. Every single one stopped.
All of them, yep.
She was going fast as well. Yeah. Like that was not an easy set to stop.
She's really cute. I was like, okay, I'll go for it.
Good. I like the waist on this Indian one. I love girls who have like really narrow waist and like wide hips. That's lovely. Mind you, her hips not very wide, but her waist very narrow. Right. Let's go next on. You're well happy with yourself, aren't you? It's good. You got a massive fucking grin. Right, and let's work on the next bit of subcommunication. So, let's think. What should we do first? Okay, the smirk. Let's do that. This might take some practice, though. You probably won't get it down. You probably won't get it straight away. Should we do the smirk? Just give me a minute to think. I want to think which bit to start with. No, we'll start with the speed that you talk. Let's start with that. Okay. I want you to get in the habit of starting sentences And then, for no particular reason, just pausing, looking, and then you can finish, like I just did there, right? You see what I did there? Now, do you notice how it kind of gets you hanging on for me to finish the sentence? Right? That's not an accident. And you notice again, John and Tom are doing exactly the same thing when we're like talking to each other, you know? So try and get out of the habit of this, right? Don't do this. Hi, excuse me, do you speak English? Right, I just want to say I saw you over there and I thought you looked quite nice. Now that's not bad, but it's not... Right, so that example I gave you, compare that to this. Right, excuse me, hi, do you speak English? Right, because what I just noticed about you over there was you had this kind of very colourful look about you. Yeah, right, that was it, yeah. It's, can you see how I'm like drawing it out and slowing it, right? It's much more compelling, much more charismatic, and because you let her know at the beginning you're talking about her, she wants to hear it, right? Somebody's telling me something about myself. What is that, right? Because, you know, people want to, if you're just telling her about fucking the history of Poland, she wouldn't give a shit. But because you've let her know it's going to be about her, that immediately piques her interest, right? So it'll take a little while to get used to speaking that way, because on the one hand it's a skill, and on the other hand you have to fight the natural urge to speak quickly in case she goes away, right? You'll get the feeling that if you go slow and leave spaces, that she'll just say, oh, say bye. Now, that actually doesn't happen, it goes the other way, but you will get this feeling that the moment I stop talking, she'll leave, right? But when you're feeling confident and your vibe's good, you'll realise that's bullshit, that actually leaving spaces, leaving sentences unfinished, a space, then finishing it, is actually much more compelling. So your next set, I want you to do that. Do everything else the same, right? Don't make any changes to what you've been doing, but take your time on these sentences. You know, you keep the eye contact. Maybe when you say it like this, right? So you're keeping the eye contact, but then you've got this idea, and you can look away, right? But it'll be congruent, right? Because it's your eye contact is related to what you're doing and what you're trying to say. So that's all I want you to work on. Slow it down, leave pauses. You know, you play it a bit. You know when I don't know. You know when you have like a boiled sweet, and you like roll it around your mouth, and then you roll it around your tongue, and you're just having fun with it around your. It's like that with the sentences, right? You're playing with them. You're not just like that. But of course, all of this is predicated on having a good stop. Hence why we start with a stop. And having a good stop, a huge part of that is feeling in the right vibe, which is why we focus on the vibe.
The vibe is so much better when you know they will stop.
When you do what, sorry?
When you know they will stop.
When you know the stop, yeah. Positive expectation is self-reinforcing. That's why on day one, when we were working on the stop, I was saying, look, don't do this, right? Right? Because it's like a negative spiral, and you want the positive spiral. I mean, you just experienced a positive spiral, and it's a world of difference, right? And you're the same fucking person, right? You know, it's technique, it's vibe, right? It's things you have some control over. You notice I always do this vibe stuff in the street as well, right? Again, everyone has their own little ways of doing their little vibe stuff in the street. Like this, you know, just... You notice how loose that is, right? Looking around, turning around. It's the same idea. Don't be the little, like, fucking crunched-in cubicle guy, right? You're, like, socially liberated. And you don't need to be socially liberated the way the PUAs tell you, where you like walk around in a ballerina's dress, fucking shouting at people to marry them, and you know, social freedom exercises. That's bullshit. That just makes you weird. Yeah. This is not weird. This is just feeling at home on the street, you know. Bye.